And now another look at the main news on a day dominated by the London Underground fire tragedy. The Prime Minister saw the devastation for herself, praised the rescuers and ordered a public inquiry.
Investigators now know the fire started near the ticket hall on an escalator, but they don't know why.
And tonight at King's Cross, some commuters made their own simple gestures of respect in memory of those who died in the worst fire in the history of the London Underground. From the 9 o'clock news, good night.
Now, BBC One's late news from Newcastle. Good evening. Passengers on Tyneside's metro system ignored a fire emergency today. It happened as safety officials were carrying out checks following the King's Cross disaster. Stations in the centre of Newcastle were evacuated after a train overheated. But a group of passengers on one platform ignored the automatic warnings. A metro official said he was amazed that after last night's disaster, people didn't care about putting their own and other people's lives at risk. One of the child specialists at the centre of the Cleveland sex abuse controversy has told the inquiry in Middlesbrough that abuse can take place even in loving and caring families. Dr. Marietta Higgs was defending her diagnosis that a 16-month-old girl with a good family background was a victim of abuse. The inquiry was told that when Dr. Higgs told the baby girl's mother of her findings, she was so shocked that she fainted. Council safety officials in Newcastle are to consider a ban on lorries entering school premises during children's breaks following last week's accident at Heaton Manor Comprehensive School. 2 pupils died after the accident, and the council will discuss the lorry ban at a meeting tomorrow. And an inquest has heard how a 4-year-old Tyneside girl was crushed to death under a lorry after her mother collected her from school. The coroner recorded a verdict of accidental death on Karen Simonet of Clipstone Avenue in Walker, who ran into the road in front of the lorry. And the weather prospects finally. A windy night, but mainly dry with clear periods. Temperatures 5 degrees Celsius, 41 Fahrenheit, but a strong westerly wind continuing. Tomorrow, a bright, windy day with sunny spells and isolated showers. Temperatures 8 degrees Celsius, 46 Fahrenheit, and a strong northwesterly wind with gales in places. That's the local picture. The national weather outlook now with Bill Giles.
Hello to you. Well, it was a pretty wet day over many parts of England and Wales. The wettest places I've seen were all down in South Wales, where they had over 1.25 inches of rain. In the Bristol area, over 1 inch of rain too. Now, we can have a look on the satellite picture and see the reason for this. A great swathe of cloud across the country, over much of England and Wales too. These great pulses of rain running from west to east through the day. The whole thing has now worked its way southwards, and the rain has cleared down into northern parts of France. And indeed, you can see some clear weather tucking in behind, and this has made it quite a bright day up in Aberdeen. They had over 5 hours of sunshine. Back to the satellite picture, though, because just to the north there now, you can see this little curl of cloud coming into northern parts of Scotland. That's going to move southeastwards and keep the heavy showers going, I think, as we go right the way through the night. Now, the cold front, which brought all that rain, as I've said, is now down into northern parts of France. It'll continue to work its way southwards through the next 24 hours. In behind, as its name implies, it's brought fresher, colder weather. And as you can see, with the isobars very closely packed together, particularly up in northern Scotland, there's going to be some very stormy winds around there, I think, tonight, particularly near the showers. And then these very strong winds working their way down the North Sea as we go through into tomorrow. So then, a fair number of showers dotted around tonight, particularly up in the north, some heavy ones. And through the night, they're going to work their way down the North Sea and eventually come on to the Dutch and particularly the Dutch, but some of the Belgian coasts as well. Inland, though, becoming dry. A fair amount of wind, so although it's going to be a lot colder in many places than it was last night, maybe just a little bit of ground frost around, but probably not very much. And as you can see up here, some very strong winds, some severe gales, even storms perhaps up in the Northern Isles. Tomorrow then, a bright start, a sunny start in many places and inland over England and Wales. It'll stay dry, I think, but a fair number of showers near these coasts. By the middle of the day, I think there could be some showers getting onto the eastern side of Scotland, down the eastern side of England too, perhaps down into East Anglia. And then later on, rather more persistent rain, perhaps coming back into those northwestern parts of Scotland. It's going to be a much fresher day over England and Wales, as you can see there. A windy day too, with the strongest of the winds on that northeastern side. Still some gales around. That's it. Bye-bye.
Pudsey Bear is back for Children in Need, and Radio Times features some of the many events in aid of the BBC's appeal for underprivileged children. Philip Schofield helps find out how last year's money was spent, while preparations for this year are made by Sue Cook.
Well, Pudsey Bear and I and somebody called Terry Wogan, where's he gone? We'll be here for a dazzling evening of entertainment with a host of stars and some quite extraordinary events. Join us for Children in Need.
Doctor Who reaches its 150th story, and Radio Times travels through time and space to look at the Doctor's many regenerations.
Time now 27.5 past 8.
And it's a double anniversary when today celebrates 30 years of airtime. Radio Times traces the ancestry of Radio 4's flagship programme back to the formative days of Jack DeManio. Today's 30th anniversary on the front cover of the new Radio Times.
From him and me, good morning.
Good morning. BBC Two now spends 40 minutes by taking a wry look at the experience few believe in until it happens, love at first sight, with testimony of 5 couples who claim first-hand experience. And joining Sir Robin Day in half an hour around the table of topical debate here on BBC One are Tory Foreign Minister Chris Patten, Labour MP Joan Ruddock, Neil Mackintosh of the VSO and Dr. Kenneth Miller of the Engineering Council. And now Felicity Kendall performs a cover-up operation in the triangular entanglement of The Mistress.